fantasy, caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
You know, guys, there's nothing that gets on my nerves worse than when someone puts something in a comic that doesn't belong. And one of the things that gets on my nerves is when someone does what I call forced nudity in a book for no reason other than just to be nude. And then sometimes it's just like gross looking nude people or something. And I understand if it serves a point, but if you're just throwing random nudity into a book that doesn't belong in it, then I just get so angry because I'm like, you're just showing how you don't have any other bit of creativity other than just to have that in there. But anyway, I just read the Spawn issue. You know, I've been meaning to get back into Spawn. And after I read this issue, I don't know what this book is. And I mean, it was an okay issue, I guess. But this art and this story was just, like, I'm used to a different kind of Spawn. So when I started reading the first couple of pages, I was thinking, oh no, what is this? The cover is very weird because it's like that, I don't really know what you call that, abstract art kind of deal, where it looks painted. Now the script is by Todd McFarlane and Dara Savage, and then the artwork is, and co-plot, is by Jason Sean Alexander, and then Dara Savage is the co-plot as well. I don't really understand why you need a plot and a script, but so the colors is by Lewis NCT and Jason Sean. So everybody's chipping in. Jason Sean Alexander did the cover A and B too, and then Todd McFarlane was also the editor. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things at Image apparently. So we start out here in an extremely boring first page. They take up like over half of the page with just this muddied image. And it's talking about Spawn. It's talking about Cyan, which is his daughter, which is grown up now. And this guy puts his key card in the door, opens up, walks to this big lab, and there's a huge demon creature. I'm assuming it's a demon creature that they're working on, and that got my attention pretty good, you know, at that point. And then you see some of the scientists are also demons. And apparently they're milking some kind of secretion from this dead demon that they can use to make a drug to mind control kids and stuff. And so they're doing something with the kids because they have this guy named Tamara comes in there, and they have a bunch of people locked in cells. And then they come in there and there's Cyan in a cell. And they've got her tied up, which she still must be young because I think this is supposed to work on young kids. And so then there's a crow actually in the window, and a crow can talk as well. And he's telling Tamara that Spawn's going to come looking for him. And then as we move on here, it says there's more talking, and the little crow actually turns out to be a woman. It says, but when he does, can you stop him this time, or am I going to continue to see him tear through my men one by one? She says, his powers, they've changed somehow. This isn't the same Spawn I remember hearing about. That wasn't my question. I said, can you stop him? And then we get a pretty cool shot here of Spawn, his cape and everything flowing. That's the one thing I've always really liked about Spawn is the huge cape flying around. So that was kind of cool. But there's more talking. There's a lot of dialogue to begin with this that really got on my nerves. A lot of these weird little dialogue boxes. And so then basically we cut to this next image, and he's looking for, it doesn't really tell him the exact location of where she's at, but it's kind of like a beacon a little bit. And so he's flying through the air, and I thought that was a pretty cool shot of him flying through the air like that. Shows motion. But I don't like this art style. Like, I don't know what it is. I guess because Marvel did it so badly when they tried to do this kind of stuff that it just kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. It's kind of cool, but everything's so washed out that you can't tell what some things are. And so basically he's saying, he's unable to pin an exact location, but the scrying, which is ability he has, gives him a general direction, and much more important, he only gets a signal if she's alive. so he knows that she's alive. And then we get this next dialogue that says his enemies have no idea what Spawn's about to unleash upon them. I was like, that's kind of cool. So then we cut back to Cyan, and Cyan is visited by this little ghost boy, and the ghost boy is filling her in on the dire situation that she's in. They got her pumped up on a bunch of drugs right now anyway, so she's probably halfway flipping out. And then the boy comes to visit her and tells her, oh, it's going to be okay. They just give you some drugs and you die. You'll be fine. And I was like, oh, my God. And then he's telling her, what happened. They snatched him, gave him the drugs, tested out something on him. And that's basically what happens. I mean, it's terrible. They're doing it to these multiple kids, drugging them up and testing the drug on them and then killing them eventually. And so then we get this really cool shot where he's flying through the air, and this cape almost looks like it's got feet, and then the chains are flying in different directions. So that's pretty cool. And so that's basically when he gets to the place where she's at. But when he gets there, he's immediately scoped out with a rifle, and it turns out that it's that girl from earlier. So she shoots him, and he falls right into his trap, so to speak, because Tamara is already waiting on him, and he says, welcome, Spawn. I hope that wasn't too painful, but this will be. And then he's attacked with living bombs, basically. They bombard him, hit him one at a time. Pretty cool action shot there. He kicks another one, it explodes. And I like how they do Spawn's face, and every now and then they do it where it's a skull face. So then at this point, he's pretty weakened. He's been hit multiple times by these creatures, starting to hurt him. And then this is the point where we start getting the nudity, the unwanted nudity. Now, I know some people's like, dude, get over it. But that's not really. I know that Spawn has that kind of stuff in there. It's like rated R or whatever when it was on TV show. And I know that this girl is a changeling, so it would make sense that her clothes, she wouldn't have any clothes if she changed back and forth. But it just, I don't know, it's just silly. But anyway, she hits him, he falls down, the bombs hit him, but what they didn't realize is that he wanted to be captured. He wanted to get close to them because now he knows where everybody's at. So at that point, he sneaks up on the girl, hits her with some chains, she deflects, fires at him again, can't hit him because he keeps disappearing. And so what does she do? She goes after him. And she goes, oh, poor baby, are you hurt? How sweet. You're trying to protect the girl. It won't work. And so then he runs to the glass, and there's supposedly Cyan standing there. And then that's when the evil girl is like, here's my chance. I'll kill you. And she just cut Cyan's head off. And so I was like, oh, no. So then it turns out it's actually not Cyan. It was Tamora all alone. And he says, yes, it was Tamora. And it's a pretty cool shot. He says, because you're the only one, you're not the only one who controls magic. And she's extremely upset at this point. He says, and you're not the only one who can change shapes. So then he turns into a giant skull with chains flying in every direction, and all she can do is stand there and take the assault. So Cyan is still trapped. She can't get out. Spawn at this point, I like how they describe that right here. They said, disinterested from his kill, the Hellspawn continues his search. Almost like a predator. And Cyan is visited by her friend Yoko, and so she's trying to find a way out. But she's having a real hard time. She's trying to get out, she can't. Things aren't going her way. So we've got Spawn still looking for Cyan, and then as he's creeping along this creepy place, there's a guy waiting for him. And it's crazy because he looks pretty creepy. But then we see Cyan talking to her friend, and her friend says, don't worry, it won't hurt. And I was like, oh gosh. And then we see Spawn cutting back and forth talking to this guy, and this guy seems to have some of the same abilities he has. And he says, welcome, Spawn, I've been expecting you. And then Spawn seems very surprised, and at the same time, Cyan said she's going to make every one of these people pay. And so we cut to the next page. The guy is now huge, so he can change his shape kind of like Spawn can. And he has hooks and chains like Spawn too, which makes me, maybe believe that he's some kind of Spawn as well. But he kind of looks like Hellraiser to me, doesn't he? He looks like one of those guys. But she says they had better get prepared for what's about to come. So it kind of ties into this image because Spawn looks minuscule compared to this guy. And that's pretty much where it ends. But here's my deal. This is very, very strange. Now, at the same time, it kind of fits Spawn, but I don't know if I like this art style. You know what I mean? Because everything is washed out. Everything's muddy. So when Spawn's around, the art looks good because you have the red and the green and things like that. When he's not around, it looks like a muddy mess. It almost looks like I read Punisher Max a while back, and that's what it kind of seems like to me. So I don't know what I think about this. But all in all, the story is pretty good. There's enough going on. This is just one random issue, so it could be pretty good. I don't know. The more I read it, the more I kind of like it just because I like Spawn. But at the same time, this doesn't feel like the same Spawn to me. Something's different. Something's a little off. But I'm going to let you guys be the judge of it yourself and tell me what you think. Now, I think this series has been catching a lot of flack because they've changed the story around. They got Cyan being this kind of SJW hero that can do no wrong kind of type thing. And so I don't know. But Spawn himself looks pretty cool. I just, I really like the original Spawn series, so it's hard to, it pales in comparison to those series. But like I said, the art is weird, but when Spawn is on the page, it looks good. But when he's not, it looks weird. But anyway, that's enough about me rambling. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tell me what you think about it. I may get the next issue just to see, how it's going. And see if it gets any better, see if it goes anywhere. I kind of want to see who this guy is. He looks very interesting. I don't remember him from the old series. So maybe he's a new character. I'm not sure. But we'll see. All right, guys. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe. And I'll do some more videos later. Underground Geek out.